In this brief tutorial, we're going to go over how to add a news story to the news feature. First, make sure you're logged in as the administrator. Next, go to the admin page and find the news icon. On the news admin page, click the New button to create a new story. When the form appears, you're going to need to enter the date for the story. The date will default to the current date. However, if this is an event you're posting a story about that's going to occur on a future date, you can change this date to that date. For the title, let's enter a sample title here. And for the category, we can choose any category from the list. These categories can be set up elsewhere in the News app under the Options page, so you can customize that list. The Restrict To field allows you to restrict this story's access to specific groups of members. So, for example, if we wanted to make this story only available to board members, we would check the board member box. You can select multiple groups, but in this example, let's say it was just a story that the board members should be aware of and the non-board members should not be able to view it, then we'll check that box and only board members, members of the board member group would be able to see this story. And then for the story, in the editor, you can add any text or paste text from another place to add the story here. And you can use the editor like you can other places in the website to format the text with bold and italics and larger fonts and colors, just like you can anywhere else in the website. The expires field is a date after which the story will no longer appear in the news story listing that regular users see when they go to the news menu item. It doesn't delete it from the website, it just makes it so it's no longer visible. The attachment field will allow you to attach a file to this news story. For example, you may want to attach a PDF newsletter that you want people to read. And so you might have some text in here saying this is our January newsletter, and then you can attach that PDF using this option. Keep in mind that the Choose File button may be called something different in your browser. Each browser has a different verbiage for this button. The Show Full Story Text in Main Listing option allows you to show the full story text, which is this, no matter how long it is, in the main listing of news stories that the non-admin users see. If you don't check that box, that story will be truncated. The first so many characters will be shown, usually ends up being about a sentence or so. And then it's ... and they can click a button to get into the story and view the entire story. But the main listing will have truncated versions of the text. If you aren't going to use this, if you uncheck this box, it's probably important to make sure the first 10 or 15 words of your story are indicative of the rest of the story, so that people can get an idea of what the story's about, other than just the title. So keep that in mind when you're setting up the actual text for your story if you're not going to show the full story. The next option is allow the public access to this story. If you check this box, it means that even non-members of your site, even those who are not registered or have profiles, just anybody on the internet who finds your website can see this story. This also assumes that the news feature itself is public in the menu. So if we go up here, if this option in the menu editor has been marked as public access, that means that if it's marked public there in the menu editor and it is marked public here for this story, then they can see it. This comes in handy if you want to make some stories public and some stories private just for members. In that case, what you would do is in menu editor, you would make this entry public. So the whole entry is public. But if you uncheck the box on certain stories, then what will happen is only the stories that are marked as public will be visible to non-members. Boxes where the box is unchecked like this, those will only be visible to members. So you have to make the whole news feature itself public first in Menu Editor, and then use this box to determine which stories within the news feature are public and which are private. The last option is notify members who have subscribed to news notifications. If you check this box when you save it, it's going to notify those who have subscribed that a new news story was posted. And it'll have a link to the story so they can view it. So we'll go ahead and save our story. And now we're back on the admin page where we can see our new story's been added. And if I go to the regular news entry, we can now see that our news story has been added here. So that is how you add a new news story to your website. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and thanks for watching.